Greetings, sentient beings. Usual
Hi.
disclaimer, this is not intended for children. There may be strong language and adult subjects. And no kitties were harmed in the filming of this video. However, we will be talking about some that were in at other times.
I don't know. No kitties were harmed in the making of this, but there's one cat who's trying my buttons. He is now trying to reach the shelf by climbing up the wall. I'm not joking. Please send help.
I've taken the opposite approach. I realized that Sammy-san, needs high places to feel safe. So the last edition I made from my bookshelves was a set of steps that goes from the one that's at the level of the window ledge up to the top shelf, about 6 feet off the floor, so that he can go ahead and run across the top of the bookcase.
Oh, he's got plenty of places to climb. He's got plenty of places to climb and crawl and stuff. It's just, like I said, he's just really hyper.
Yep.
And even though I do complain and it's driving me crazy, it is kind of a good thing because that means he's not in the middle of a flare-up. So...
Yeah, you want to see him active, know he's feeling good. I get concerned if mine seems, too sluggish for too long, then I start wondering if there's something wrong.
Why?
And that's why we only have animals that can manage to be cute and adorable as house pets, otherwise they wouldn't survive that long.
You wouldn't tolerate such behavior from your armadillo?
No,
I would not keep an armadillo in a house.
They've got to be able to roll over on their back and go, see, I'm cute, you gotta love me.
No. See, armadillos carry diseases. If I were to keep any kind of odd animal that's not typically a pet, it would be a possum. Because possums eat yucky bugs, don't carry rabies. And there is the joke about them playing dead, but they do really and truly prefer trying to get out of a situation to being aggressive.
Cool.
So yeah, I would have a possum.
I came across this. I'm echoing for some reason. What the devil?
Not hearing it on my end.
But anyway, I came across a dead possum once, and it was all its eyeball was missing, and it's all wriggling from the maggots and stuff. And I thought, if that possum is playing dead, that is the king of all possums.
Oh, poor baby. No.
And yes, armadillos do carry leprosy. But,
oh dear.
But geneticists actually have concluded that they got it from humans. We gave it to them. They're just a carrier that can give it back to us.
Well, thanks, humans.
Humans wreck everything.
They do.
Well, what can you do? They own most of the world.
Yeah, there are food, so what? Nothing.
Wait. Oh, man. I am in the middle of trying to coordinate 3 scattered brain people for going to Hogtown.
What's Hogtown?
Hogtown is our... It's not in our city, but it's a couple of towns over. It's a big Renaissance fair that they hold every
Really?
year.
Yeah, I haven't been to one
And-
of those in a long time.
Yeah, well, I try to go every year, and I'm going to be able to go. It's just, it got complicated real quick. At first, I thought, okay, I have a weekend with my friend A, and I have a weekend with Casterphine, and it'll be fine, and everything's not complicated, and we've all set the dates. And then A is telling me that she's not 100% sure about taking Hufflepuff, my little sister, and I understand. And so somehow the conversation went from we're not 100% sure if she can use a wheelchair to let's check out the wheelchair and scout. And hey, in order for you to get a free ticket, now you're volunteering this Saturday because neither of us can afford another ticket for you to scout. And then my other friend's going, hey, the date that we set, I don't know, that I can do it. And I'm sitting here going, can we just stop and just not turn this into a disaster, please? Please. Thanks. Oh, y'all are reminding me in the chat. I really should be finishing up editing that one video before it gets too much later.
Yeah. Oh,
Orla is also chompy in the chat.
yep. So just hi's to everybody. We got Orla, Dora, Johnny Drive-By, Dave, Glover Mom, Mr. Shadow Kitty was in there originally. Nerdy. Sorry if I missed anybody, but hi all. Oh, Glover Mom, you're moving?
Ew, moving does suck.
Moving does suck, but it is my dream. I need to get out of here. Yeah, the actual process, though, of packing everything up and all, yeah, that's extremely anxiety-provoking and physically exhausting.
Yeah, the actual getting to a new place isn't so bad. Once you're actually there and settled in, it's all the packing and the shoving things around and the unpacking and somehow, unless you're one of those magical people and I've only met one, but somehow you never have enough time to actually complete everything that you need to do for a move.
Yep.
And it doesn't matter if you start moving 3 months before or 6 months before or anything like that. There's never enough time.
Yep, that's pretty much the case. And then there's always those 4 boxes that you will never find until the next time you move, and you'll always be wondering where stuff went to.
And there's always stuff lost in the move that you're not quite sure how it got lost.
Yep, I've been wondering that since my last move. Number of tools that I haven't seen since. I know I put them in the truck. I haven't seen them since.
Maybe the sock monster that lives in the washer or the dryer. Nobody knows which one he lives in, but maybe the sock monster got a taste for something different and decided that he wanted a gourmet meal of tools or something.
Yeah, maybe you just need to repair the portal in the back of the dryer.
Maybe.
I'm wondering what this Beano. I take it this is some kind of a magazine in the UK then.
I have no clue what that is either.
That's what I gathered.
Oh. It is disappointing though when you see a good magazine sliding down. And these days there are so very few left.
Oh man. Sorry, I'm boring today.
Me too.
Yeah.
All
well,
I've done for the past 48 hours is play Horizon Zero Dawn.
well, I've just been feeling stressed and sick all week, so
Ew.
I spent 16 hours in bed, although I didn't get any more sleep than I usually do. So most of the time I was just laying there in the dark listening to the stuff on one of my playlists.
Yeah, my house finally got cleaned. Um, Somebody came in and helped finally, so
Okay, I saw you posting about that. You didn't mention who was responsible.
it ultimately was the same person who bailed on me like around Christmas, but I'm kind of at the point where while I'm angry as hell, I'm not so angry that if they actually show up, I'm going to turn them away.
Hmm. Well, at least they helped out some, so somewhat
Yeah,
redeems them, huh?
a little bit. And I use the term friend loosely because she's not. I don't hate her, but we've had a few run-ins, and she's still friends with Hufflepuff. So she's still kind of around, although I kind of secretly wish Hufflepuff wasn't as close to her, but eh.
Yeah, I know how that goes. It's pretty much in any relationship, you wind up having a couple of people that your partner is friends with that you'd rather didn't hang around.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, the relationship between the two of them is completely different than what happened between us. I got tired of her being mad at me for not noticing cute guys around,
Okay.
and then told her I was ace. And then instead of her like understanding, like, and I don't expect, instant understanding or anything like that, or even necessarily acceptance. I would have even taken tolerance at that point. And she decided that that was just going to make her angrier. And every time I didn't notice, that was cause for a verbal attack.
Yeah.
And she also started pushing for me to go to a doctor to get myself cured.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, can understand that.
All while claiming that she's as close to me as an aunt would be. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but if you're going to claim family, you need to at least accept me. Even if you disagree to a degree, you have to at least accept, and you won't even do that. So, nope. I'm out.
Yeah.
And
I've gone by family are the people you choose to be with, relatives are the ones you're stuck with.
Well, and see, like, and also if she were just like if she weren't like a super close person, like, I think the reaction would have been different. But like, she and I consider each other really close friends, and I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but no. I mean,
Well,
There
and
can
it's
never
very
be too much
awkward.
worry.
Yeah, it's very awkward if the relationship is not kind of balanced, if one person is more attached than the other.
Yeah. Well, I started off as attached as she did, and then slowly little things started adding up, and the ace thing was kind of the last straw. There were other things too, but it was just like I told her in hopes that there would be like some understanding and communication, or like at least trying to figure out things from my point of view, because I would have done the same for her
Hmm.
if she had told me something that I didn't quite get. And instead all I got was more anger. And basically what it boils down to is she is in her late 40s, is extremely romantic, fantasizes about getting married and having kids and blah 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 blah. And I don't struggle with that, at least in a way that isn't visible to her, so she got mad at me. And then tried to change me because I made her uncomfortable. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't get what the big deal is with people sometimes, about that, the asexual thing. It's, just perfectly logical, you know. I don't,
Yes,
I mean,
it has to do a lot with the environment down here. And it's similar in other places. I'm not saying that people don't push for marriage and having kids in other places, but
Hmm.
there's something about being down here where I'm at that brings the religious nutballs. I mean, I'm
Well,
down here in Florida with what's his face
well,
yeah.
there's,
and Scientology and the Mormons.
Well, and like you
I'm,
say, it's also largely a matter of, how much influence the churches have on the city there.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm in a red state myself, and we have churches of every kind here. I mean, I have to go vote in a church. Um, and yeah, it's I'm like swimming in Trump supporters. It's insane. It's just
Same.
crazy. It's just crazy
It,
how many.
Yeah.
I'm
Unfortunately, I'm in a red pocket of a blue state, but in this small town, there's a lot of Trump signs on the lawns.
yikes.
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
because for some reason they still believe that Trump is going to somehow magically make factories start building in small towns all across the country.
Hmm.
And most of the people around here still believe that's going to happen and will vote for him again. That
Yeah.
despite the fact that we have no train, they literally pulled the rails, they physically removed the steel rails 20, 30 years ago. And people still believe that somehow a factory is going to start up here and there will be jobs again for everyone.
Ay
I'm dealing
caramba.
with I am dealing with family members, and not just the Mormon ones, but family members whose leadership at their churches support Trump, and so therefore they support Trump. It's not a conscious decision by any means,
Yeah,
but
Hmm.
watching my usually otherwise really intelligent dad fall for it
well, I'm
is
sure that
kind of painful.
a lot, if maybe even most of the people around here are getting it. That they support Trump because their pastor told them to. But around here, at least, that's very splintered. There isn't like one big church. We've got 25 tiny little churches that it's surprising any of them can support themselves.
We have a weird setup here, and I've kind of mentioned this before, but there is a huge Baptist church downtown where a good majority of the politicians go for my city. And there seems to be an attitude of it doesn't matter which Southern Baptist church you go to. It doesn't matter as long as you're Southern Baptist.
Yeah, at least they identify as a group.
Yeah.
But I mean, like here we actually have a situation that there is one pastor that does the services at 3 different churches. Different denominations, but none of them can afford to pay a pastor, so they share this one guy.
Ow. Oh.
Yep.
Ow.
And the
Pastor
service for
pass
the
around.
Lutheran Church is broadcast on the local radio station on Sunday morning.
Yeah. And the thing
Hey,
is that-
Diana.
Hi. I just got
Hey,
Hello
back.
there.
Diana.
Hey, sweetness. I just got back from acquiring foodstuffs. Hang on, I
Yay,
just
food.
pulled my cable out of the headset.
Yeah, sorry I missed you
Oh,
last
boy.
night. I hadn't been feeling well for a couple of days and went to bed really
There
early.
we go. Now let's try that again.
I am
Yay.
excited when I go to when I figure out who in the hell I'm going to Hogtown with after all this nonsense. I am going to go and get the most delicious gyros over at the World Tavern with tzatziki sauce and salada. It's so good.
I have not had gyros in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I haven't had them in a while either. I usually only get them about once a year
Okay.
when I go to Hogtown.
I don't want to know, do I?
You do. It's Ren Fair.
Okay.
That's actually the last time I've had a Euro was when I was at our local Renfest in Shakopee.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I lived
Actually,
in-
Doc Fearson,
That's,
the one Shakopee, Minnesota? Is that what you went to?
yeah, that's the closest one to me, I think.
Okay,
That's the
yeah,
one I always go
I
to.
went to that one a few times when I was living in Minnesota.
Yeah, when I was living in Cleveland, a friend of mine knew where to find the best gyros ever. Well, he grew up in Athens, so take it from there.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about Athens, Ohio. Yeah, he was the Mad Greek. Oh, man, I rather doubt he's around anymore.
Why was he so angry?
There's
He
a
just came off
place in
that
St.
way.
Paul called Dino's Gyros that
Oh,
it looks
my.
like a fast food place, but it is authentic Greek food.
Oh man, yeah. The more like a fast food place it looks, very often the more authentic it is.
Yeah. Well, there was a nice Greek restaurant called It's Greek to Me that actually was run. It actually was run by 3 generations of the same family who were Greek immigrants.
Okay.
But
Ooh,
that one,
yummies.
yeah, they closed down like 10 years ago because I guess like the 4th generation went off to college and didn't want to run the restaurant anymore.
Okay.
That happens. My thing is that I know that I can get really good gyros, but every time I find a place that is close by, it tends to shut down.
Okay. So watch where Tria goes for gyros, and don't go there because it's going to be
Well,
closed
no,
within a
the
week.
ones that aren't close to me never. The ones that, if I were to drive across town to the gyro place that I know is good, that one stays open. It's not in any danger. I've been there about 8 or 9 times. But the ones on my side of town, after I go there, like I find out a few months later that they shut down. Because
geez.
apparently this side of town has no goddamn taste in food.
Okay.
Like, we have your typical fare of like pizza and Mexican and Chinese, but anything else tends to not stick around.
Okay, so the restaurant that specializes in dishes made from cat does not stick around.
Yes, when I lived in New York, there was a saying that there were no stray cats in Solvay. Hey, Jenny.
Hey, kids.
Hey, Jen.
Hello.
I haven't seen you in a while, Diana.
Oh, I'm sort of out of the whatever it was. No, I was hurting, physically hurting. I hope they don't continue to do it. I have a reprieve for a while. I don't know if you've heard me mention that I have 5 slip discs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the impingement was really giving me a hard time. This time it was the discs in the neck that were really screwing with my shoulder. And it felt like 440 volts running right through it. And it was like, yeah. Which is why you didn't see me at what's that thing called where everybody's weird? Movie night.
Oh, movie night.
Yeah, and that's why that's why you didn't see me on Sunday either.
Yeah, I had wondered about your show on Sunday because then I didn't see the note for that until Monday afternoon.
Yeah, that's only the second time in close to 2 years that I've had to take a day off because of that. There was the other time when I was working for Jones, and he would always call me before the show started, and here I am screaming, and it's what's up? And it's got the pain going, and said, "You're taking a day off. We'll go from here." You know? Oh shit! But what can I tell you? I cannot say that this is what happens when you get old, because the doctor who diagnosed me took a look at the magnetic resonance images, and they looked at me and said, "You're a little young for this, aren't you?" And I was 32. And I'd been experiencing symptoms for 10 years.
Boy.
Jeez.
So happily, I did not need surgery. That was good. But the one thing I should have, and I don't, I'm going to have to run out and get one day, is, those cervical traction kits, where it's basically a neck strap and a bag of water, and you flip the thing over a door. And literally, you'll open the door and you flip the thing over, and it pulls on your neck to kind of help the discs get back into alignment. I had one, and I don't know.
Oh, that's the Epstein maneuver, isn't it?
Wait a minute. Is this?
Never mind.
You're referring to a certain person that we don't like to refer to, right?
Yeah, I just thought it'd be a good way to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But yeah, as I said, it's been a while since I'd had a problem with it, and hopefully, it's going to be a while before I have another problem. Anyway. So here I
suppose
am.
it doesn't help that you didn't have a proper chair to sit in either.
Oh, well, that too. Well, I'll get around to that someday. Because I've had about $120 in co-payments hit me.
Yeah.
I still have $10 over there. And that's kind of put a kink into everything. I was going to buy a chair, and it's going to wait now for a little while. maybe by summer it would be nice if I could have. I want to get the hardware I want before I get the chair, and then get the chair, and hopefully that before my birthday or something like that. Before July. We'll see what happens.
Well, nothing wrong with putting up an Amazon wish list a couple months before your birthday.
Well, that too. I do have. I put out the bowl to bag. I do have a PayPal collection thing. It's like send money. But I had been to the well so many. Well, I don't know about so many times, but it feels like so many times that I'm kind of hesitant to do it again and again and again, because eventually people look at you and say, "What are you doing?"
Well, I know what you mean. That's like, I don't really plug it. I don't even put the link in most of my stuff, but the Amazon wish list is there if somebody wants to go looking for it. I consider that a pretty passive thing, so.
Yeah, I'll look around on the Amazon and see if they've got any decent chairs, because I wouldn't mind a nice. It's got to be at least a mid back, because I can't do the lower back. It just doesn't work with me. In other words, a back that's higher than this. If you can see where the back of the chair.
Yep.
Well, this
Oh
is
no,
one
I
of
know
these.
what you mean. That's why I do most of my stuff from my recliner, because I don't have a decent desk chair either.
Mhm.
And if I don't have something that comes at least up to my shoulder blades, it's just I can't sit in it for very long.
I strongly suspect that I overloaded that chair, because, okay, I'm not skinny. It was as of a few months ago anyway. I was up around 240.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you heard the exchange between Aaron and myself on Helton's porch. I was kind of surprised when I found out that he and I weighed the same.
Yeah.
And he had a few inches on me.
Well, and it is that they don't really, they manufacture everything for this hypothetical average of someone who's 5'9" and 180 pounds. And, yeah, anybody who fluctuates very much out of that range, the stuff just doesn't hold up well.
Oh man, I've
got the 5'9" part down.
There was a time when I weighed 180 at 5'9". That was over a decade ago. That was, maybe about 2008, 2009. Right around the time I was beginning my transition. And I have since, especially since I quit smoking, I put on weight like crazy. Working on losing. Slowly, I'm getting there. I'm down to about, what was the last I checked? 217. So it's not 240, so that's good.
Yeah, when I was in St. Paul, I was in a social group for BBWs and their admirers. And I had built a few pieces of furniture, and
Okay.
seriously, if I had stayed there where I still had space for a shop, I was probably going to set up a business of building furniture that was just proportioned for people.
Sounds good. Yeah, it sounds like something that would have worked.
Because also the problem of, people who had shorter legs had troubles with some things and that. So just like building tables that you could adjust the height by 3 or 4 inches to suit yourself.
Oh man, wouldn't that be so wonderful? Really, when you come down to it, because just about every table, especially kitchen tables or dining tables or however you want to do that, they're all built to an ANSI standard.
Well, and I actually fall into that range. That now I'm just a hair short of 5'9". I'm 175 pounds.
Okay.
So I fit into that average that the stuff is supposed to be built to. And I still find that all of the desks and tables are about 2 inches shorter than where I'd want them to be.
Yeah, because last I checked, I think the standard table height, for example, is 29.5 inches.
Yeah, about 30 inches. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you do have half inch either way, that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, the half inch is generally less than the thickness of the top they put on it.
Yep. Because, yeah, the tops are very often. Well, the table I have over here, you know the one. It's the one that was by the window. It's
Yeah.
near the kitchen now. That looks a little, not quite 3/4 inch thick, that tabletop. So it's, your basic milled lumber. Well, it looks like the way they did it was the random length slats. All the leftovers from the decent furniture.
Hans says he thinks that chairs are designed by chiropractors to get more customers in.
Could damn well be. That's the thing. I wish I had a good deal more money, because I would consider visiting a chiropractor for a little bit of the massage thing that would go on. I mean, not expecting any real medicine or anything out of this person,
Yeah.
but is when this was flaring up back around when I was like 32, 33. I had gone to a place where I was getting ultrasound sort of massage almost, and that actually helped. But
Well, I mean, if you're going to a chiropractor just to get a little bit of a relief from pain, that's what they're there for. If you're going because you think that it'll cure everything that ails you, that's not what the chiropractor's there for.
Yeah, and I was going to say they often get thrown into the woo, but the honest ones who tell you what they can actually do.
Yeah.
I've known several people with back problems who have gotten some pain relief from them.
The MSB went to a chiropractor. This was years and years and years ago. I was in single digits, so it was in the early 60s that he would go to, because he had a little bit of a back problem going on. And he claimed that he got relief. So, yeah, it's not a matter of getting your neck twisted to cure your cancer. Okay, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, but they have that movie they show everybody that a guy gets his back cracked and he can hear again.
Jeez.
Because the ear bone's connected to the lower lumbar L3, I think it is.
That's where I have. Well, no, a little bit lower is where I have one of my problems. 2 of the slip discs are up in the neck, the cervical, and then 3 of them are lumbar. And oh man, when those lumbar discs go out, I'm walking around like an angle iron. Like, this is my legs and this is my torso, and I can't straighten up. It's like, ugh. I believe that hasn't happened in a while. It's the kidney biopsy. I blame that. Oh, Jeff, I miss you.
Okay, Dora's making the distinction between chiropractors are woo, manual therapists are the same without the woo. I haven't heard anybody referring to them as manual therapists, though.
Oh. Okay, now wait a minute then. Where you have the manual therapists, where do you find the automatic therapists? I just can't do it the way Kate does it.
No, you get some good ones, but yeah, the key on all humor is the timing.
She's the expert.
Well, and I think part of the reason is that people aren't expecting it from you, and that in itself changes the timing you have to deliver it with.
Mhm.
Everybody's expecting her to do it, so
Oh yeah, I mean, not two sentences go by where there isn't a pun in there somewhere. One of the things that endears her to me. Oh well, damn it.
she has a good wit.
Oh
Hey, like I
man.
say, I know what you mean.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, there's someone I watch online who, better that I don't say who it is.
That one, or is there another one?
No, same one I mentioned before.
Ah, okay, okay. That's what I thought.
Although there are a half dozen of them that if I could afford to, I would pay them just to read books to me.
Okay. Oh my.
I can easily be seduced by the right voice no matter what the person looks like.
Okay.
Yeah,
What happened? What?
there's a few people whose voices, I don't care what they look like, but their voices are very pleasing.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, Purple, what are you doing? Karis is on the line.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope she's doing okay. I haven't seen hide nor hair of her in a long time.
Oh, Diana,
Yes, dear.
I had an Impossible Burger the other day, a couple days ago.
Oh, where'd you get it?
It was absolutely vile. It was just terrible.
So obviously
She won't
you
even
did
tell
not.
you where she
Just
got it.
sell
She
my
just
soul.
jumps right into no,
Did
bad.
did you try the one at Burger King?
Yeah, it is. I love veggie burgers. I buy them all the time, Boca burgers or something like that, and they're fine. They're enjoyable. But that Impossible Burger tastes like metal. I can taste the artificiality. It was
Oh
just
my.
terrible.
No, yeah, we tried one at Burger King, and Sloth Girl said the same thing that she thought it had a metallic taste.
The
Yeah,
one Jeff,
to me
the
it
one
mostly just seemed like seasoned cardboard.
the one Jeff and I got came from a place called Burgatory and cost $13. So there may be
Ouch.
a little bit of a difference there. I mean, both of us reviewed it rather favorably. It's just too bad that we never got
Yeah.
to complete the film.
Well,
But
and that's what I'm wondering about. Is it's a trademark name, so unless Burger King's like using a slightly different spelling that they're getting them from someplace else or something.
hmm, okay.
I'm wondering how they could have been the one I had been so different from the one you had when they're trying to push them under the same name. But yeah, like Jen said, I've had the Boca burgers, and those can be good if they're prepared properly.
Okay.
Yeah, Bucka burgers aren't bad. I would only be able to switch to those permanently if I had to, and because I like the taste of meat, but I've had them and I'm kind of picky about what kind of food I will eat, and they're not bad. I kind of like them.
Yeah, see, I'm
I
not
would
even
not
that
turn
picky
down one
about
if
what
I
I
was.
eat.
I wonder if part of it is what goes on them. Whatever other seasonings are in use, or is even that regulated? To where you have to follow a specific recipe, even in
Yeah.
seasoning it.
Well, one of the problems Burger King's running into is that because they're cooked on the same equipment as the beef burgers, that the vegans and vegetarians aren't going to want to eat them.
Yeah, that won't work.
Yeah, so what's the
Definitely.
point of having a vegan burger that vegetarians won't eat because it's probably been contaminated with meat grease?
Mm-hmm. Um, when I was doing the vegetarian thing years ago, I did get a little picky as far as the grease and everything because I could taste the difference. Um, I was vegetarian preferentially. I was not Alex O'Connor. Okay. Let's get that out of the way really quickly. It was just that I liked it, and I'd do it now if I could afford it.
Yeah, I did the
Oh, I know what
vegetarian
that
thing
was.
for about a year and a half in the 90s.
Okay, that was about the time I did. I was at uni when I was doing the vegetarian thing. So you're talking early '90s to mid '90s.
Yeah, yeah, actually, I was thinking it was around 92, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I finally fell off because of just the logistics of getting a quick meal. I mean, I was working at the lab at I&E. We were mapping cat brains,
Hmm.
and you go and get a quick meal. It's almost always meat based and everything else, and it was like kind of fell off. And now I really can't afford to eat well, which is one of the things I'm going to have to argue with my doctor about. And I
Oh,
can't afford.
got Math Pig here.
Hey, hi, sweetie.
Hi. How's everybody?
Hello.
It's a
Hello.
little bit this, a little bit that, and thank you for reminding me by showing up. I
You need
do
to
have
go
to.
have a ham?
Yeah, I do. I do have to modify my closing credits because you're not in the thank you list yet, Mathbig.
I didn't really do anything. It didn't really work out that well on the stream, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Diane. Nothing I can do to help at all.
Because I'm at the point
Okay.
right
I
now
got
anyway
to
where it
split
doesn't.
6 people is too much.
Oh, okay. Well, Jenny, you were coming through perfectly clear this time. Did you finally get your new laptop together? Or your old one rebuilt or whatever it
I
was?
haven't got a clue what you said. I can't hear anything. But it's what it sounds like. I can't
Sorry.
hear anything.
That sounds like Bugs Bunny in the Gremlin thing. Ooh ah ee oh ooh ah ee oh. Anyway, man. Okay. One thing I can tell you is that yakisoba from an American supermarket is probably not even beginning to be authentic.
Probably not.
Yeah. Kate mentioned yakisoba yesterday, and it was like, I've never had this stuff. I'll see what I can get
I
that passes.
might have had yakisoba. Hold on.
I don't even know what that is.
It's similar to ramen, noodles, and a sauce. The sauce for yakisoba is supposed to be sweet and umami.
Okay,
Whereas,
I haven't had yakisoba, and it's because I had it. You use a specific kind of noodle for it. You use buckwheat noodles,
Okay.
and I haven't played with buckwheat noodles yet. I have had rice noodles. I love rice noodles.
oh, they're good.
Rice noodles are so
yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Um,
want to
Never
see if
heard
I
of
can.
rice noodles.
I have
want-
within a 5-minute drive of me is the largest Vietnamese supermarket in my city, and they don't consider themselves a specialty store. They consider themselves like a neighborhood grocery store, and so
Well, what is
the prices are lower than a lot of the other places that you can go to get specific things.
so?
So,
Wait a minute.
like,
If they consider,
okay, what I mean is, if you go to Winn-Dixie, which is your normal everyday groceries chain grocery store
yep,
here,
I know them.
you
I
go to
know them well.
Winn-Dixie and you get fish sauce, you'll pay $3 for it. You go over to the Vietnamese supermarket, you'll pay $2.
Okay.
They don't raise their prices because they are Vietnamese and because they think that they could get away with it. they actually keep them lower so that people will actually go and pick up things and use that as their actual grocery store.
Well, the other one I was going to say was, what is your neighborhood? Everybody immigrated from Saigon?
Well, no, but most places are not. Most places are places like Winn-Dixie and Publix, etc. But there are also places here that are considered specialty stores. Chinese and Vietnamese and Thai food is usually considered a specialty. So most of the time when you walk into these stores, the prices are actually higher than what you would get at your run-of-the-mill grocery store.
Well,
This one over here goes the opposite direction and says, we want you to treat this like your regular grocery store you walk into, not a specialty store.
Yeah, where I was headed was that, at least here, there are some neighborhoods where a hot dog would be considered specialty food, unless you were in the Filipino neighborhood. Then dog is on the menu every day. But yeah, there's Little Saigon, there's Little Sicily all around here, and then in those neighborhoods you'll have what elsewhere would be considered the specialty grocers, but there are quite run of the mill,
because like I said, there's no shortages of places where you can get Asian specialty items. There's no shortage of it. It's just the majority of them know that that's what they're specializing in something, and so they raise the prices a little bit. This one is like, no, we want everybody to come in. We want you to shop here. We want you to, we want you to get your 1 week or your 2 weeks or your month's worth of food, and that's one of the things I like about it. Because but the other option that I have that's close by is almost sometimes double what Winn-Dixie is.
Wow. Yeah, interestingly enough, the neighborhood I lived in before I came to this neighborhood had a pretty sizable Vietnamese population. And there was a grocery store just down the street from me, which specialized in the Vietnamese foods and also Korean and Chinese. And boy, you could get a nice selection of stuff down there.
Yeah.
And I didn't go there anywhere near enough is the problem.
Yeah, and I need to after things settle down a little bit around here, because we're strapped because of course the holidays. But I do want to go back to our store and get a few things because I'm a little bit low, and I also haven't done a lot of cooking in that. I've done mostly Italian lately, or Italian-esque. But
okay, have
you ever had Southern Italian? Yeah.
Okay.
Because Southern Italian is very, very different from Northern Italian.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And people don't realize this. They think it's all spaghetti, and it's not.
No, oh gods, no! You get Tuscan food. No, it's definitely not.
We have a Sicilian place I want to try so badly. That is out in Orange Park. I want to try it so badly because Sicilian food is almost all seafood.
Okay, yeah.
And
it's a fucking island, you know.
But it's just like I want to go so badly. I don't remember what the one dish is called, but I've been looking at it, going, yum. But Diana, have you ever had black rice?
No, I have not.
It is so cool. You get it and it looks black. And you rinse the hell out of it because if you don't, it gets kind of goopy. But you rinse the hell out of it and then you cook it about the same amount of time, about the same amount of water and time as like brown rice. And it has a
Okay.
very similar taste to brown rice and it comes out purple. When
Okay,
it's done.
so yeah, so it has the same pigment that you find in frijoles negros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes out purple and it's the funnest thing. I keep no, Sicily and Rome are not alike. Reading chat.
Oh, they're not at all. No, not at all.
No. And the thing is that everybody thinks that spaghetti is like the epitome. And I'm like, first of all, we've Americanized and bastardized the hell out of that. And
Yep.
second of all, everybody has their own spaghetti recipe.
Well,
Like,
spaghetti
you go to
was
my
never
place-
Italian to begin with. Marco Polo
it's
brought the
Chinese.
noodles back from China,
Yes.
and tomatoes are only native to North America, so they didn't have those until the 1500s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you come to my place, the sauce that I will put on spaghetti is going to be completely different than if you go over to my aunt's house.
Yeah.
And thank you for reminding me. This is the second time I got reminded today. I am going to have to make my special pork neck gravy. It's a tomato-based sauce, but I picked it up from Jeff Smith, the Frugal Gourmet, and it's a nice thick, very, very thick. It's almost like the spaghetti noodles are the accompaniment to the sauce rather than the other way around.
You know, Diana, with you talking
Yes, sir.
about food, I kind of wish, like, if you do go to Faithless Forum, that we had one of those live-in hotel rooms where you have like a little kitchenette, and we'd be like,
Oh,
buy
yeah.
you stuff and like you cook.
Oh yeah, I had
This
one of
violates
those.
my coffee. I'm gonna be so pissed.
I had one of those in Toronto years ago. They are nice. Well, even the one place where I stayed in Carbondale when I went to view the solar eclipse, they had a Mikey Wave and a defibrinator, and it was so great. I didn't have to go to restaurants and pay restaurant money for food. I just went to the Aldi right down in the next corner. Got whatever I wanted and then brought it to the hotel room. And Sylvia and I ate very well. I don't know. It would be great if one way or another I could work my way out to Faithless. I'm not too sure I'm going to make it because all of a bunch of stuff hit. Like about $100-something in medical co-payments. I still have to pay about 10 on one of them, and a couple other things where the whole budgetary roof crashed down on me. What are you going to do?
Well,
I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna put up a GoFundMe, and you're gonna be like, "I'm not asking, but it's here. If you want."
I could always put up another GoFundMe. I've got a PayPal thing going right now. I'm begging for funds for some computer hardware because I want eventually to do a double-headed system to where I have the two monitors shared over two computers because it's looking like the whole two-monitor system is going to be a necessity for some of the image and video sharing that I want to do.
Oh my word! Trying to stream from my parents' house and not having two monitors was so difficult.
Yeah,
Okay.
two monitors make life so much easier.
gee, talk about first world problems.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
and I have the list, the hardware list drawn up. I already bought the Switch because it's from a different source as the other stuff, and I was given the impression that they were running low on stock. But the stuff from Newegg, They're talking about $400 worth of stuff by the time I get through.
Oy.
Another monitor, 2 vid cards, double-headed each, and a whole bunch of cabling. I mean, the vid cards are like $120 each.
Now, I just want to say I got really lucky. I had my regular monitor, and my boyfriend used to work for a computer company that did recycling. So whenever the local the local law firm that they worked for decided they wanted to upgrade, they'd send all their stuff to my boyfriend's company, and they would, like the computers, they'd take them apart and recycle them. And one day they put this 38-inch monitor for recycling.
Jeez. So he took it and nailed it to your wall, right?
Yeah, he asked his boss, he's like, "Hey, can I have this?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, sure." So he brought it home, and that's how I have my primary monitor, as a free leftover from some law firm or something.
Yeah, one of my
Jesus.
monitors is free, and the other one I got off like Facebook or Gumtree or something for like £20 or £30. Second hand is the way to go. Like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one I have my eye on is, well, it's another one of the model that I have already, and it's like $90. So it's not one of these high-end monitors. I'll deal with that later.
Yeah.
I don't need high-end necessarily, just to watch the OBS window over here while I'm watching the chat window over there and this other shit and everything else.
I was very lucky.
I just used my TV for a monitor. And when I got a good deal and was able to upgrade to a bigger one, I still have the other one. I just can't figure out where to physically put it that I can hook it up to the computer to have a second display.
Okay, I don't. When was the last time I had a television? I think it was about 2009 or 2010. I think 2009 was the last time I had a television, and I do very well without one. I don't miss it, so it's not like I'm going to run out and get television or anything like that. There's the occasional thing that somebody talks about that says, "Oh, that would be kind of nice to watch," but the other thing is, it's so expensive. You get great deals for the first year, and then in year 2 and ad infinitum, you're paying like I don't know, 8 or 10 times your promotional year. So what the hell?
Yeah.
I could probably whore out the cat and maybe be able to.
See, this is what I keep telling Elmer. He needs to learn to use learn how to use a freaking stripper pole, because he is eating and pooping all of my money, literally.
Oh man! Thank you for reminding me, though. I wasn't at the appropriate store for this, but yeah, I'm going to have to get some cat food. I'm nearly out of cat food. Well, when Brian was here, or when Purple was here, we went out shopping for some stuff, and got a big bag of cat food. That was in July. And that cat food is just about gone now.
Yeah. I got lucky because Elmer's vet doesn't want to see him for another couple of months, and he's trying to stretch out how often he sees Elmer. And because Elmer is doing so good, he actually told me to give him half the amount of medication I've been giving him. So instead of medicine every day, he gets it every other day now.
That's cool.
So that's actually been really nice. So hopefully, even though, because the vet did a full blood panel on him just to make sure that there was nothing we were missing. So even though the appointment cost me double what it normally does, if this is going to be the long-term outcome of that, I'm actually really pleased. Because his medicines every month cost me about $300, I think.
Yikes! Where are you getting
my
them from?
medications don't cost that much.
Where are you getting your medications from?
I'm getting them directly from the vet, and he is actually the cheapest option I have.
Okay, just
very
checking.
Likely, it's
Okay.
very likely the specific meds that
It's the specific meds, and it's because it's extremely specialized. It took us a lot to get Elmer's IBD under control.
Mhm.
Right before we switched to the current medications, we had a conversation where he told me that I might be leaving the vet's office without my cat.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
That's always news you want to hear. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and like he was like, let's try this one last thing and see how it goes. And that was about 8 months ago. And Elmer's not the best he's ever been, but he's about damn as close to it as I'm gonna get from him.
And now, hello. You didn't scare me, by the way.
Boyfriend.
Yeah, he tried to scare me, and he actually smacked me, and it hurt because he was trying to like grab me, but he actually smacked. Ow! No, Anyways, if you go to a vet and they say, this is something that pet peeves me with vets, especially when I had in South Carolina, and they tell you they want to keep your animal overnight, make sure they've got overnight staff.
Oh yeah, instead of leaving them in a
no.
With nobody looking.
No,
after
I'm
them.
not saying that. I'm pretty sure that your vet has overnight staff, but this vet did not. He's like, we want to keep him overnight, and I was like, wait a minute, you don't have any overnight staff? He's like, no. I said, what the fuck you want me? Sorry, why are you going to keep my cat? There's nobody here to watch him. If I take him home, I can at least watch him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
And then they charge you for the overnight stay, even though there was nobody there.
This particular vet is a overnight in both the sense that they have staff and also they take emergencies. I'm actually going to a specialty clinic. In fact, the vet joked with me sometime around the 4th or 5th month into trying to get Elmer's situation fixed. And he says, for the holidays is your Christmas present from me, because you've practically paid for a semester of college for my kid. I'm going to he's like, the next vet appointment and the next set of medications are on me. You're getting a holiday discount.
Oh, nice.
It would be nice if somebody would do that at me, kids. Oh man.
But yeah, he's a good vet. He's done a lot. He's if I tell him, hey, I cannot do X because I don't have the money, he'll be like, well, I'll see what the bare minimum that we need to do to keep everything okay is, and we'll go with that. So he's not scamming me or like trying to take me for everything I'm worth. It's just my cat was that complicated when I brought his furry little butt in.
Yeah, that's that's appreciative because I've had vets horror stories.
If I trimmed my ears and stapled on a tail, could this guy see me? I mean, the trip down there plus that would still be cheaper than what I'm dealing with over here.
Check for them on eBay. They actually have robotic cat ears that are supposed to somehow sense your mood and react to it.
That reminds me of a joke I once read on Twitter or Facebook. I can't remember. But it has to do with the fact that, have you ever watched a zombie apocalypse movie?
No.
You've never watched have you ever noticed that whenever they find a doctor, it's a vet?
Yes. Because
you know why?
Animals are far more complicated, and if they can figure out animals and like how to improvise when there's not the proper medical equipment, there's a huge likelihood that they'd be okay handling a human.
Well, but also it's the fact that you're used to. Oh, I found it. It says Can we talk about how zombie shows, movies, books, they always find a veterinarian and not a surgeon? Are veterinarians deemed more likely to survive the apocalypse? And somebody replies with yes. One of our professional skills is not being bitten by patients. We actually have a good broad knowledge base of both surgical, medical, and general practice things. We're used to improvising equipment because a lot of the stuff is just not made for animals. Meat safety is part of our training. Our cars are often full of equipment, especially in mixed practices. We probably aren't in the human hospital at the initial outbreak.
Okay, then. I like it.
What in the frick, Math Pig? You're muted if you're talking. I see moving lips, but I don't know.
I'm a potato.
Oh, man. That reminds me of what is that called? The one that Quiznos subs picked up. We are the subs! And they're these throbbing, whatever the fuck they were, with eyeballs falling out.
They were called the Sponge Monkeys.
That's it.
Have you seen the eggplant? The eggplant's out of control.
Oh, no. Speaking of, I haven't had an eggplant in ages. Now you got me wanting eggplant. What the hell?
Oh, sorry.
Isn't that what's called windmilling? Is there something like that?
That's a different thing altogether now.
Oh, Pirate Kid, you trying to share something?
Yeah.
Ay, caramba.
Yeah, I couldn't even remember what the critters were because all I remember is changing the channel as soon as it started screaming at me.
There's another one. Let me see this one.
Okay, to be fair, though, that would actually pull me in because I'm like, okay, somebody was high when they wrote this. I wonder if they're the one making the food.
Extremely high.
High people know how to make food.
I think it was somebody in the UK that invented those, wasn't it?
I don't remember where they're from, but it was a thing they did on their website, and the song was "I Love the Moon," and then Quiznos bought them and made a commercial out of it.
Okay, we is going to up.
It was insane.
Whoops, we is going to up to this to looking to making.
Doorknob Head says, "What the bloody clumps of toxic poo is that?"
Clumps of bloody toxic poo. That's exactly right. I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Looks like the name is Joel Veitch. Is a British web animator, singer-songwriter, member of the humor website B3TA. And I guess this is the guy that invented the, is it Sponge Monkeys or Spong Monkeys?
Sponge Monkeys, I thought.
Okay. The one I really liked, I like it to this day, I know I'm weird, is the one that ends up, "We are not the Huns."
Oh, that was the one I just played, but it started to play, but it's...
They are so good, we need the property, the recipes is barbaric!
No, I like these, Purple, you want to pull my screen back up real quick?
Sorry.
Purple ran away.
No. Well, Sloth Girl came in, but I didn't realize when I switched back I was watching the YouTube screen. I wasn't seeing the StreamYard stuff.
Oops.
It's where they make food and things out of Legos.
Jeez, this guy. Born just before I graduated high school. Oh, Lord. I'm old. God damn it.
That's kind of cool.
Groovy.
I had one somewhere, was a similar kind of thing, but the guy was doing woodworking and it was all pieces of Legos.
For the love of Saint Gulag, that's got to take some work. Yeah.
Or time.
Yeah. Well, the time for the animation, because they're putting down 1 or 2 pieces at a time and taking a couple of frames. So that has to be a lot of hours that went into that.
What the hell? Doorknob head. It says it looks like something Morton would jack off to. Jesus.
Okay,
Christ.
you're sending this to Morton. Wait, I don't have the link. Kitty, send it to Morton.
Said what?
The video you're showing us to Morton.
The one that I just showed, the pizza one?
Yeah, the pizza one.
Okay, let's finish. Let me finish the eggs.
Yeah, no problem.
The way he did the butter there was great.
Oh man! Speaking of that stuff, a couple days ago, I finally got a multiple yolk egg in the jumbo eggs I bought. It went a long time, or it seemed like a long time without a multiple. But for a while there, almost every one I cracked was a multiple yolk.
Huh. Weirdness.
Well, some places, some of the dairies feel that people don't like the multiple yolk eggs, mostly because the yolks got blamed for the cholesterol. So I think they now have, computers that scan them on the belt that puts them into the carton and rejects the double yolk ones.
What the hell do they do with them? I mean, if they're going to throw them out, send them over here for Christ's sake.
They probably.
I don't think they throw them out. I think they just wind up, getting.
They use them for other things like eggs, not egg substitutes, but like when you find pre-liquefied eggs.
Yeah.
Or they'll send them off to be used to make things that need eggs. So
yeah.
Who wants this?
Or they sell them to a bakery or something, so nobody knows.
What?
Who wanted that link?
Send it to Morton.
I'll put it in the chat.
I don't know if Morton's in the chat.
Who's Morton then?
No, I don't think so.
He's one
Morton,
of the regulars in the audience for movie night.
Yeah, and I think he hangs out in Neil's chat.
Yep. Audience from.
So I think if you put it in the Neil's usual suspects list, I think he's in there.
But how did he know about it if he's not watching the stream? That's why I'm confused.
No,
just Doorknob had
somebody in the
something.
chat mentioned Morton because he plays with Legos. That is what he does on his channel.
Gotcha.
And I said, hey, we should send it to Morton.
I gotcha. I thought it was somebody in chat that was looking at it.
Oh my! So be mindful. You used to work in an egg farm. Oh my! My ex, her. Well, she thought he was her cousin. Turned out he was It turned out he was her half brother, but that's another story entirely. Ran an egg farm, and we would get farm fresh eggs that still had the shit on them. When
Inception.
When her father would come over for a visit, he'd come 2 or 3 times a year, and he'd always bring maybe about 4 or 5 dozen eggs with him. Oh man! And he had just gone to Jeff's farm that morning when he drove in, and God, those things were good.
We went to an open farm with a child last week, and I snuck some eggs out of some sort of Japanese style chicken, whatever the hell that they have. And as soon as I got home after spending all day with them in my coat pocket, my woman threw them in the bin. She was like, "You're not eating them. God knows where they'd have been."
Okay, so whoever thinks that person's on Neil's, can you tag him? Because I don't know the name. It didn't come up.
Well, in the private groups, the tagging doesn't work.
Morton, as in Tea with Danish's husband, yes?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, send it to me and I'll send it on to them. They're in my Discord. I can just DM it to them. If you put it in the private chat, I can post it on to them if need be.
But I'll tell you, the one thing I dearly loved, the one good thing about going out the island with my cousin, I mean, the bad thing was that I found out she ran a puppy farm. The good thing was that for breakfast the morning we went out to the island, she served me duck eggs. Nice.
I put it in your
I've never
Discord
had
and
that.
tagged them.
There you go.
Since you said that they were, yeah.
I mean, I would not mind if I had, gods, if I had the space and shit, keeping ducks for the damned eggs. 'Cause, damn, the duck eggs are good. Very,
I've
very
never had
rich.
duck eggs.
They're very rich.
Oh,
Well, I imagine the duck eggs would, probably have a higher level of fat.
Yeah,
Just because ducks, right from the start, they need that extra fat layer to stay warm in the water.
Yep. You got it. The yolks are much darker, much richer. Not so much yellow as orange. Ducks rhyme with orange. You know how that goes, right? And then we have doorknob head being doorknob head over in the damn thing. I love you, sweetie.
Yeah, my sister keeps chickens, so get the farm fresh eggs, but she's only got a dozen or so, and they get split up between the families, so I don't get them on a regular basis.
Jane
Giraffe
Morgan's
eggs.
favorite are giraffe eggs, yeah.
Giraffe eggs.
Oh, shit. But,
Those aren't eggs.
similar. Come from the same cell line. Anyway. Oh, shit. Fat tastes good. Absolutely, fat tastes good. That's why
Well,
we
yeah,
eat it.
we evolved to crave fat and sugar because they're high energy foods.
That's right. Yeah.
So back before we had all the modern conveniences and weren't sure if we were going to be able to eat every single day.
So why we store fat?
Thank you for reminding me. That's the other thing I've got to do. Well, my food budget is wrecked this month, but maybe next month I need to get lard because I need to make some pie crusts.
Yeah, lard is long. I cook all my chips in lard in the deep fat fryer. It's far nicer than oil.
Yeah, for making pie crusts, screw Crisco. Okay, just burn the stuff. Never mind. It's lard or nothing. And what is it? Oreos with lard. Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's about all that's in the middle of the Oreo.
Mm-hmm.
It's lard with some sugar mixed into it, really.
Pretty much.
Yummer.
Fat and sugar, must be tasty.
Oh shit! And then what?
And they keep trying all the bizarre flavors for Oreos.
I actually like the mint Oreos.
Mint
The mint
Oreos
ones are good.
I
They
I tried
doing
the Pop Rock ones, and I liked those.
I just do not want to see them try to appeal to a certain crowd and serve up placenta flavored Oreos.
Blech.
That's a bit much.
Not you. I went bleh because of what you just said. My boyfriend was like, "Well, bleh to you too."
Orange Oreos. I've seen
Boyfriend.
those. I've never eaten one.
Even the orange ones aren't bad because they're, it's a little bit like a dreamsicle.
Okay, I remember those.
I don't know. I could imagine that an orange flavored one wouldn't be too terrible.
Yeah, I think they put it out every year as a limited edition. They do the pumpkin spice Oreos.
I don't like those, and I love pumpkin spice.
Well,
They're
why is pumpkin
I
spice
will
considered to be a
six.
seasonal thing when it's dried spices that I've got in my cabinet all year round?
There you go. And Tria,
That
I'm going to
is
stick Seth
true.
Andrews after you
What?
for the pumpkin spice stuff. Or no, wait a minute. He
Okay,
actually likes it, doesn't he?
I like Halloween and fall stuff in general. So, like in the pumpkin versus apples and apple cider versus the hot chocolate wars, I'm just like, give me all three.
Okay.
Right.
Like, not at the same time, obviously, but
You know-
give me all three.
I love a good apple cider, and it's so hard to find any decent stuff anymore. It's like they keep trying to just pass off apple juice as being cider and don't realize it's not the same thing.
I've come
Right.
across a
Well,
couple of those, and it's made me upset because what I do this at least twice during the few days that we actually have cool weather. Because I'm in Florida, we don't get a lot of those. But the first night that it gets cool every year, I will go and get some pork chops, apple cider,
Ugh. Oh. Go ahead, sorry.
a little bit of mustard, not the yellow mustard, but like the stone mill mustard.
Dijon or
Stone mill, no, stone mill. It's
I'm
be
sorry.
mindful.
Horse
it's
brown.
similar to spicy brown, but it's not as spicy.
Be mindful. You speak of bacon grease fried eggs as if there's something special. Isn't that the way they're supposed to be done? That's how my bobcat ever did. Was you fry the bacon and then you pull it out of the pan and you fry the eggs in the grease. That's
And
what's in
then-
the fucking
Exactly
pan.
it. Yeah.
But I'll take that and garlic, onion, thyme, and rosemary and throw that into the crock pot overnight. It is so good. So good.
I always
I'm so
keep reading.
scared of cooking pork
Why?
because
If
I'm
you
always
put it
afraid
in the
something's going to
crock
go wrong.
pot, if you put it in the crock pot, like if you sear it for just a moment and then put it in the crock pot, you can't mess it up. Trust me, I cannot cook pork any other way. But if you put it in a crock pot, it will be fine. It will not come out dry.
Mm-hmm.
It will be
Oh, well,
good.
it's
Yeah.
impossible for it to be dry the way that my family does it. But it's just
what
the
do
whole
they do? Pour a cup and a half of water in with it?
brown gravy.
Oh, okay.
Just
Oh, no,
make a bunch of brown gravy, put it in a pan, and then bake it for however long.
Yeah, the
Okay.
crock pot is definitely the way to go with pork. When I was living in New York, we kept being able to get the pork shoulder for 99 cents a pound.
Mm.
You know, so I would do that in the crock pot for 6 to 8 hours and then just
Yep.
pull it off the bone and do barbecued pulled pork.
Yep.
We might have offended a certain pig.
Oh, I'm actually doing not a pork roast, a beef roast right now in the crock pot. Oh,
I've
my
been
boyfriend heard
asked-
that and said,
What the hell did you do? Rob Fort Knox?
No, you can get a kit at Walmart. It's like a pound of it's a pound maybe pound and a half roast, and all the vegetables for $15.
Yep. I've gotten those a couple of times.
Yeah, it's just the way I'm situated right now, I can't justify spending $15 for that. You know, the pound.
Not
of
even.
something.
Well, wouldn't that last you a day or two, a meal or two?
That's the problem. That's about as long as it would last. I'm trying really, really, really hard. No, and I'm not kidding when I say this, to keep my meal budget at around $1 a day.
Mm.
No,
Yeah.
I don't see how you can even manage that, but
A lot of rice, a lot of potatoes.
yeah.
What's
That's another
really
thing about having a car, though, is that, if you know the right time to go shopping, you can be there as they're thinning stuff out. And like the only
Okay.
reason I got those pork packages at Walmart was being in there when they're thinning out the meat section and they, reduce them for the next
Yeah,
day.
that's actually
Okay,
how
yeah.
my
So
dad
then I
gets
wind
the
up getting them at
lamb.
like half price.
Mm-hmm.
That's how my dad winds up getting the lamb that he does. He's
Yeah.
actually friends with the people at the deli, and he'll go to Publix, and they'll let him know the day that they're throwing meat out.
Yep.
And he'll get it for about a third of the original price. Because
that's
Yeah,
You don't
well,
even
that's
have
my
to-
dad did that when I was growing up too. That he just got to be friendly with the butchers and the produce managers at the local grocery stores.
I tell you,
And he could always pick up the stuff that they were considering was too old to sell.
I'm sorry. I'll give you a tip. If you're ever at a Walmart and you're in the meat department and you see something that's dated to expire either the next day or the day after, take it to a manager and say, "Hey, this is expiring in 2 days. Can you CVP it for me?" If they say no, don't make a stink. But if they say yeah, you got a discount on it.
Yep.
CVP?
Customer Value Program.
Oh, okay, because I was going to ask you, it was Charlie Victor Papa. Okay.
Yep.
My
Well,
ex used
that's
to
also
shop-
how I managed to get my big TV. I was in Walmart at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and they were cleaning out the stock room. So a couple
We
of very
took the-
dusty pallets of things that hadn't sold well were put out,
Yeah,
and
we
I got
don't
a 50-inch
typically
TV for $99.
we don't typically go to Walmart because our Walmart here, well, we have multiple ones, but the one closest to my house has, like, it's not too bad, but we have just as cheap options elsewhere to get
Mhm.
meats. And we usually, and Winn-Dixie's, like their sale prices pretty much beat everybody else on this side of town. So we tend to go to Winn-Dixie.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
yeah.
actually, I don't like shopping at Walmart, but where I am, I don't have many options. I've got to drive an hour just for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing going on there. Well, you live in the middle of.
Yeah, I know that I know that my situation's different because I live in a huge
In
area.
a place with choices.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that there are actually places in my city that are food deserts, which I
Yeah,
find
yeah.
really extremely odd, considering everything.
Oh, we've got the food deserts here. Yeah,
There are
They
a
are
couple of
confined to
neighborhoods in
certain
Minneapolis like
neighborhoods.
that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. They're
Yeah.
usually, how do they put it, economically challenged.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a couple of the poor neighborhoods in Minneapolis that they don't have anything but a convenience store.
Yeah. Well, the darn thing is, and this is something that saddens me greatly. I live in a socioeconomically challenged neighborhood, and these folks. It's not that they are too lazy to cook; they don't know how. They never learn, and it's one of these things where you want to start young, so you're into doing it. And these folks have never really had the chance, and they don't have the money to afford the equipment you need. I mean, to get a set of skillets, no, that's beyond the budget of most of these people.
Yeah.
And it's really, really sad when you see this, because in many cases they could eat a lot better were they able
Yeah.
Well,
to do the
and
cooking.
people don't factor in because they're like, well, why don't poor people make better choices about what they eat? And one of the factors that a lot of people don't realize, okay, let's say that you're working your ass off at a really hard job, or 2 or 3,
I know where
and
we're
you come
going
home
with this.
and you know how to cook, and you could theoretically afford vegetables, But
you're just
are you
whacked
going
out.
to be able to cook them? Are you going to even be able to slice them up? Because there are some people who are just that tired when they come home from work.
Well, and
Uh-huh.
especially
can't even
if
do
you're
that.
working multiple jobs and you don't have a car, so it's like an hour and a half each way to each job on the bus.
Mhm.
You know that,
Can
yeah,
we take a
you
pause
could
for a
wind
second?
up that you're out of the house, 14, 16 hours a day just going back and forth to work in between your jobs.
Is anybody talking? Because all I'm hearing is like noise.
We're all
Nice.
talking.
Noise,
Okay.
noise, noise, noise.
Well, no, sometimes I don't know what goes on, but when someone's speaking, instead of hearing them speak, all I'm hearing is this shrill scratching noise. But when everybody stops for a second, it stops and then kicks back up normal again. It's really weird. I don't understand what's going on.
That's weird. But yeah, there's so many factors, and like sometimes you're just forced into not having anything remotely healthy. You're just not.
Yeah.
And people are just like, well, why don't they just? And it's like be grateful that you only work 8 hours a day. You come home and, even though your money is tight, you at least have the energy to make something,
Mhm.
because not everybody has that option.
That's you remind me, because I was at the grocery store today and I saw the bin over there, and I'm trying. They had loose onions, and I'm trying to figure out what the difference is between loose onions and tight onions, but I haven't got there yet.
Well, the loose items are not, or the loose ones are not tied up, Diana.
Oh, okay. God, I can imagine. What is it? BDSM with onions.
Oh,
Complimenting the
I'm sure
rope
there
work
are
or
some
whatever the
people
fuck
who have
that
done
is.
that, and I do not kink shame.
Okay,
Oh
so
man.
I'm just googling BDSM onions
Oh no! Oh
just to see
no!
what comes up.
Of
No
course
kink
something will come
shaming,
up.
y'all.
No, I'm not. I'm just wondering what would come up.
Yeah, Pirate Kitty, you never stopped your screen share, so I'm seeing everything you bring up on your screen.
Oops. I thought I had finished that. Oh well. Oh no, it's not. It's not.
Yeah, you didn't close it from the Streamlabs. Yeah. Nobody else was seeing
Jesus.
it,
Okay,
just
the
me.
first thing I
Don't worry,
see
I won't
here.
tell them what you were looking at.
Okay. First thing I see
I'll
over
just
here.
imply nasty things about Pornhub.
There you go. Is the first list that comes up on my thing over here is cutting onions a kink? This is on Reddit, and it's like, what?
Well, I went straight to the
Um,
images just to see what comes up, and the only thing that really comes up is the naughty pickles.
Naughty pickles.
I have no idea.
Man.
Ow! Elmer, it is not a sign of love to take your claws and put them in my body.
Yes, it is. That's kitty love.
I have no freaking idea. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that's actually how he says hi to me in the morning. He does the yawn and stretch and outreaches his claws. He's just like, hello, Diggin. Why are you screaming at me? I don't understand.
Yeah, that's
okay.
actually one of the advantages to winter. Is with the heavy comforter on the bed, I don't feel his claws when he walks over me. In the summer when it's just a sheet, that's a problem.
Wait a minute. Here's something I'm seeing over. This is interesting. Okay, there's a picture that came up. Top 10 onion peeling ideas and get free shipping. And it looks like a plastic something or other that goes around a head of garlic. I don't know if you're supposed to apply pressure to it and break the head into cloves.
Oh, that or green thing?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's what that is.
I tell you, I wish I had the space. There was one year I grew my own garlic. Oh, that was nice.
There's a pizza place in St. Paul It's now called John's Pizza Unlimited. It was originally called Papa John's
Hmm.
Oh, I know
until
that.
the
Yeah.
until the national chain tried to set up in Minnesota and found out that their name was already taken. So they had to buy the name off of this guy.
All right.
They had to pay him off, I don't know how much, to change the name of his place so they could set up Papa John's.
No.
Well, I remember.
So he's like, fuck it, I don't have to work anymore, but I'm enjoying this. So
Okay.
he still is making pizza, and yeah, he grows all of his own herbs in his backyard
Oh,
to make all the
man.
sauce for his pizzas.
That's got to be some amazing stuff.
Yeah, it's just him and his daughter, and it's like, yeah, we don't need the money, we're just having fun.
But you talk about stuff like that. I think I remember years ago hearing of a suit in Israel. And it turned out that a restaurant there, a fast food joint or whatever it is, was able to keep their Big Mac. The chain was the place of the chain was called McDavid's, and McDonald's didn't like them having a Big Mac, but it turned out that they could keep it because they had it first. But I'm looking at the Naughty Pickles, and it's been a long time since I had any of that stuff. Yeah, all the fun stuff in the jar pickled. What do we have here? Might ask, why naughty? Fresh veggies fermented in brine, but not just any brine. Cultured with lemon juice and I can't make out that word. Grapes. This is not just any pickle.
Is it a dilly of a pickle?
Must be.
Yeah, my dad used to do refrigerated pickles.
You know,
okay.
that must be a pretty big dill.
Yep, it is. It is. My wife and I used to do bread and butter pickles every year.
I
Sorry.
love bread and butter.
She liked them.
pickles.
Oh yeah, bread and butter
It's
pickles
dill?
are one of the things I can sit here
No,
snacking
not
on and
with
watching
dill.
TV.
You don't.
It's
You
dill
don't.
pickles or nothing.
What I really miss, there was a
That's just my personal opinion.
restaurant or whatever you want to call it. It wasn't. Yeah, it was a deli, and the guy there had the pickles that were the really white flesh. They were larger than most pickles you would see around. They're almost the size of cucumbers. It was a brine. It was not as sour as most of the brine pickles I knew. And I've never been able to find anything close to this guy's pickles. This was, 50 years ago or more than 50 years ago that I remember his stuff. And I wish I could find pickles like his, but I can't. I just can't.
He bleached
No.
them first. No, I'm just kidding.
But I've since figured out how to eat pickles and kapusta and all these other fermented sour things. I keep a lot of baking soda around the house, and you have the reaction with the vinegar, and it doesn't burn my mouth anymore, and it gives it a little bit of a salty flavor, because sodium bicarbonate, is saltier than salt.
I like the bread and butter pickles and I love dill pickles for different things.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ladies here does variety pickles, and she does these apple moonshine ones that are to die for.
Yeah, my sister
I have
do
to look this
a
up.
variety of canning. One of my
Yeah,
sisters
like-
does real good bread and butter pickles.
Yeah, and I don't remember the other ones that we like a lot, and I only see her at the vintage shows, but she basically takes apple slices, moonshine, and apple cider vinegar and uses those to make her pickles.
Yep.
And then uses a little bit of nutmeg and cloves in it.
That sounds interesting, doing them in the cider
Yeah.
vinegar.
Yeah, because if you do it in regular vinegar, that's too strong and not quite the right, and not
Well,
quite the right
the
combination.
white
But yeah,
vinegar is distilled and all this other stuff, and yeah, it's got a higher, if I remember correctly, a higher acetic acid content than the cider vinegars.
mhm.
Doorknob Head says if a pickle burns your mouth, that guy needs to see the doctor.
My favorite that's not like it's one of those you don't keep it for very long. You just like throw all the ingredients together, let them sit overnight, and then eat them. Um, take cucumber and slice it, a little bit of sesame oil, a little bit of rice wine vinegar, a little bit of sambal oelek, which is basically like a chili garlic paste, and then a little bit of sugar. And you basically slice the cucumbers, throw some salt over them, and let them sit for about an hour or so in the salt. And you use a lot of salt, and then you pat them dry afterwards. And then you take like a teaspoon of sesame oil, and like I think it's like 2 teaspoons of rice wine vinegar, and then however spicy you want it, sambal oelek. I usually do 2 teaspoons of that, and then sugar to taste, and you let them sit overnight. It's so good the next day.
Ever thought
Okay,
of putting
now-
tomato in it?
Here's the thing I see over here from Doorknob Head, and this whole thing makes me wonder. I've always wondered about this. He says bread and butter pickles are the best, especially with tuna fish sandwiches. Now, I always hear people talking about tuna fish. Why do they always talk about the tuna fish? Is that to distinguish them from tuna cows or something? I don't get it.
It's like saying fish.
Yeah, basically speaking, and it's like,
Fish.
well,
Yeah, and I'm tone deaf, but I know you can't tuna fish.
right.
Well, that's like when people say they're going to the ATM machine.
Yes.
Yeah,
Or like we have a DSW warehouse near my work. It's Discount Shoe Warehouse.
Yep. That stuff drives me crazy, and people tell me that I'm overdoing it and everything else. It grates on my nerves. Sorry, but it does. And then the other one that really gets me, I don't like it. I hate it. Rawr. Okay, when you tase someone, for example. So basically, what you're doing is you're using a Thomas Albert Smith electrical on someone. Or let's see, what is the other one? There's another acronym. In other words, anything that ends in ER takes a back formation into a verb. Oh, okay. Laze. Yeah, you laze something. What? You light amplification by stimulated emission something? It. I'm weird. I know. But laser is light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. And then you've got the whole taser is Thomas Albert Smith electrical rifle, which that's a fun one. It comes from fiction. That's rather old. I read the second series of that when I was young. You had Tom Swift Jr. But I'm babbling. I know.
No, Nerdy's putting a couple on the side, like pin number.
Yes, yes, yes.
And he said RAM memory, but I was correcting him that you can't. You've got to put it in gently or you're going to crack the chips.
Oh man, you know what I've been having trouble with lately? The last couple of builds I did, it was really difficult to get the sticks seated properly. And there's nothing that makes your heart drop through the floor and into the basement, like turning the machine on and nothing happens.
Yep.
And then you're in tears trying to figure out what's going on, and it turns out that the RAM wasn't plugged all the way in. And
I
like,
just had that
Christ.
experience, yeah, because just a couple of months ago I managed to scrape up the money to upgrade my memory a bit,
Okay.
which is the only reason I can have the flying Triceratops now.
What?
Well, I was running on only 8 gig of memory, and apparently that wasn't enough to run the streaming software and the split cam at the same time. So I couldn't
I'm
have
amazed.
an animated avatar before.
I'm amazed that the damn task, the jobbing system would fit in 8 gig. The task
Well, that's
manager.
basically what people were telling me is I'm running Windows 10 under 8 gig, and Windows 10 took about 6 gig on its own.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you have the animated avatar?
I was finally able to get some upgrade to my memory.
But no, I mean, like, what are you using? How does it work?
Oh, I'm running a split cam in the background, and split cam is feeding that to the StreamYards as though it was a camera.
Okay.
So instead of having a camera plugged in, it's taking the image from split cam, thinking that's the camera.
Notjaw uses something similar. I believe his is Minicam.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are
Yep.
several software programs that are virtual cameras. Yeah, they are nerdy. Yeah.
I don't even actually know how it works. I just know that when I load up Streamlabs, if the split cam is already running, it finds it.
Mm-hmm. And you got that from splitcamera.com?
I think so. I think that was the site I downloaded it. Yeah.
I want to try it with just a standard image because it irritates me that you can't see my whole avatar here. You know, like it cuts off part of the tail and it cuts out ocean and all that.
Yeah.
And so I want to see if I run that, if I can just select that image and be like,
you should be able to. Yeah, split cam, I think when you load it up, I think it does give you, the option of if you want it to be a video image or I think it lets you put a still picture in there.
Now, this is something I've always wondered. Why would anybody want to do anything special with a picture of a distillation apparatus? I know, I'm pushing my luck hard.
No, I had my mic muted because I was coughing again. I'm actually surprised my throat's been getting through with this because the last 3 days has not been good.
Oh my! Yeah, thank you for reminding me. Are you still limited on your hours?
I've found a way around it, but if I talk about it too much, they may find a way to fix that.
Okay, then.
You'll have to tell me when you type, because I'm going to be working a lot in February on my channel.
Yeah.
And I need to get together with the people that volunteered, but I'm going to be doing something for Aromantic Awareness Week. So, because they get erased even more than aces do. So,
yeah,
and I am kind of both.
Yeah, Tria, yeah, I can explain it to you in a DM on Twitter.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring.
It's actually rather simple if it's what I remember, if I'm remembering it correctly.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things that it's so simple I can't believe it works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ooh, fun. Um, yeah, I need to get back into the swing of things on my channel. Um, and but it's just I have a tendency to um procrastinate pretty bad, and since technically I don't owe anybody like videos, it's easy for me to be like, I'll just do it tomorrow.
You know, this is the thing. At least you can manage that. You know, I would procrastinate. I just never get around to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I just have a problem, just kind of a general lack of motivation,
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I
and
know
a,
that
a lot
feeling.
of that is just I feel kind of trapped in the living situation I'm in, so everything seems kind of pointless.
Is there any good news on that, or you're still waiting?
Still waiting, just,
Okay.
nothing definite yet.
What
Well, here's
is what
hoping
is
for the
this?
best.
What is going on in chat right now?
They're being weird.
Well, that's a given.
They're just
Started.
coming up with as many P words as possible.
Yeah, IQ started alliterating, and then it's just getting out of hand, basically. What is this
It
DFOTY?
started
I don't
off out of
understand.
hand. There is no getting about it. I mean, look at what IQ did.
What is this
I mean, off
DFOTY?
the
I don't
bat,
know
it was out of
anything.
hand.
It's if I know what it is, it's dumb fuck of the year. It's some stupid shit that
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
they've been nominating flat earthers and conspiracy theorists of who's been the stupidest one all year.
Y'all have fun with that.
That's tough. I mean, there are some absolute idiots.
Yeah,
Um,
Writer of Dinosaurs came out with one a couple of days ago about this person claiming that the United States is literally Egypt. And it's like I watched it and I told Sloth Girl about it, so I had to watch it again with her. And it's like I've seen this twice and I have still, apart from matching up a couple of names, I
they
get
have
the
a
impression this is somebody trying to start a conspiracy, but they're too stupid to figure out a flat Earth model.
does this person have a mailing address in Thailand by any chance?
I don't know.
Because everybody's favorite idiot, you know Nick Davies, right? Phuket word. I mean,
no idea.
that guy's crazy. He's British. He lives in Thailand. He's a flat earther.
Oh,
I'm trying to think of what might be stupider than Nick, and I'm not coming up with much.
huh.
Yeah, look, you know the city in Thailand, Phuket. Here, I mean, this guy's beyond description. He calls himself Phuket word because he lives there. Um, let's see. There we are. No, I think it's Phuket word.
I broke it.
You did?
I was trying to play with the split cam thing,
Yeah.
and I
Well,
pushed the record button, and it went.
Wait a minute.
Oh, None of this is sized properly for this.
Oh, thank you, Purple. I have to try to remember that.
Doprožně?
Oh, Purple sent me the StreamYard information.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'll try that later.
Yeah.
But that's gonna. You guys realize you're gonna make me spend money if I figure out how this program works, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna have to go and commission an actual GIF somehow. I don't know.
really
I don't know
need
what.
Don't say that on any of my streams. Don't do that.
What do you mean?
It's not that no. Anytime anyone says GIF anywhere near Kate, they get slapped down real quickly.
I really need to sit down and figure out some more art for my channel. Oh,
Well,
I
mine,
guess-
I actually paid. It's Trey Baldwin did the Triceratops.
Mm-hmm.
oh,
but
Trey's
then-
really good. I
Yeah,
just
but
know
then
I
Bad
can't afford
Tempered
him.
Badger just took the still image and he put on the surfboard and he did the animation for me.
Pretty cool.
And yeah, last
Yeah,
week I
no.
actually got some fan art. I
that-
actually
that's
had
pretty
somebody send
cute.
me one on Twitter that looks kind of like a juvenile version of my avatar.
That was actually, I saw that. That was pretty cute. But that's not
Yeah.
the first fan art.
Yeah, he's a kid in Australia. He's got a small channel. He does some simple animation, mostly like stick figure things.
No, I thought it was really cute when I saw it.
Yeah.
Let me see.
This is no for to into by for to dead. Is the poo-poo. It's very easy it is.
But yeah, no, I know that Trey is good. I plan on getting some art from Trey at some point. But I could theoretically commission something from him right now. I've kind of got my heart set on. I've been saving up for a while, and I might be able to get like a skirt or a top or even a corset at the Ren Fair.
Hey, Purple.
Kind of hoping for the corset though.
Purple.
Yeah.
Share screen.
Okay, sorry. I was
No problem.
trying to do something in another tab. Oh, yeah, that's actually I was trying to find that. That's why I was in the back on my desktop.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's cute.
I think he made me look 15 years younger.
And then there's
Which
the
at
other one.
66 million, you take anything you can get.
And then
Yeah.
somebody did this.
Yeah, Deconverted Man did this.
Jeez.
This is like if Pirate Kitty and I had a kid.
Because you see that it's my eyes, my avatar's eyes.
Okay then.
Yeah, the three of us were in one of the chats late one night, and he started messing around with our avatars.
I don't want. Excuse me, please.
Now, see what you
My
should
word.
do. What you should do, Purple, is get somebody to animate it so that his hand
know
comes
what-
up and goes like it makes the peace sign.
I know what that reminds me of now.
That would be cool, actually, if I could get somebody just to do a variety of different hands to do the thumbs up and thumbs down.
That first one you showed, that first takeoff in your rabbit, it looks like you and Calvin of Calvin and Hobbes had a love child.
Yeah. Well, this is the. Wait. What was that?
Yeah, I was just catching up with these. Oh, yeah, Deconverted Man did that one too. I said that's my you want it when face.
Oh, I just remembered Pirate Kitty.
Yeah.
You took your flag that you showed me.
Yeah, I
You
noticed
took
that.
the intersex flag and the ace flag and combine them. Am I
Yeah.
getting that right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Your yellow hurts my eyes, but otherwise it's good.
Well, I just basically copy and pasted from YouTube. I was, or not YouTube, but from like Google. I like intersex flag, and then I screen capped it, put it in there, and then I eyedroppered the colors so that I would get all the right colors.
Yeah. Yeah, the yellow hurts.
Yeah, it's a little
but-
bright.
Yeah. In fact, my comment on my Discord is bright light, bright light.
This is what she's talking about, Purple. If you put my screen back up for a second.
Oh my. Okay, that's enough to cause seizures.
Well, I guess that adequately describes me some days. See
Well, what is it that I just reminded myself? What a day or two ago, was it not posted that somebody is banning animated PNGs because somebody was actually designing the animated images to cause seizures?
Why is there always the one asshole? Why? Like that's not cool at all.
I gotta look this up and see if I can find it.
I know there's been episodes of a couple of cartoon shows that wound up being banned because they had reports of them causing seizures.
Well, and I'm really sad
like-
because Facebook screwed them over, but there was Banner the superhero husky, and he was a service animal for a very nerdy person who would cosplay, and she would put her dog in the cosplays too. And I don't remember his owner's name, but she constantly would have to leave movie theaters because flashing lights would mess with her and give her migraines.
Okay.
And I really honestly think that there should be better warnings. Yeah, that's Banner. Do not follow Banner. Do not follow Banner on Facebook. The her Facebook account got hacked, and she no longer owns the account, and Facebook won't give it back.
I got too many windows open. There we go.
Yeah,
that's Banner.
The one I had seen, it was a little while ago, it was 23 December that came out. The headline is Twitter bans animated PNG files after online attackers targeted users with epilepsy. And let's get Walter Cronkite in here to report.
She went to go see the first Fantastic Beasts movie and had to leave within the first 10 minutes because of the thunder and lightning scene. Which I don't have migraines or seizures due to light effects, but watching that scene, I can see how easily it could mess somebody up. There really should be better warnings.
I thought they were
what
required
can
to
cause
have
seizures.
seizure trigger warnings when things like that were on screen.
Apparently not.
They're not
I know
required. Several studios do it voluntarily.
I know some of the stuff that John Cristofalusi would do would qualify as pretty much being a seizure trigger. For those who don't know the name, he is responsible for Ren and Stimpy. And
I've never had seizures, but the bright flashing lights can definitely give me severe headaches.
Yeah, that was one of the first things they checked me for. Was the when they did the EEG, they did the flashing light and everything else, and that was not a trigger for me. It turns out it was just totally something out of left field, but happily everything is all taken care of and everything's good with that.
Yeah, actually, there was an episode of the original Powerpuff Girls that was only shown once.
How many people ended up with seizures?
Well, that's apparently they had reports of seizures, and it sucks because I think it was one of the best episodes of the show.
Oh, great.
You know, they kind of took off on the Buffy thing and they did the whole episode as a musical. It had like 8 songs in it,
Oh no.
you know, but yeah, the songs really did add to the dialogue. They didn't seem out of place.
Oh my. Wait a minute.
I forget what the title of the episode was, though.
That's where I'm trying to find here.
Try looking under Powerpuff Girls Gnome, because that's the gnome was like the villain of that story.
Yeah, what I'm seeing here is a headline: "See me, feel me, know me."
That's the one.
Okay. And let's see. The girls are manipulated by a gnome who offers them peace in the city at the cost of their powers. But when they learn about his true nature, they outsmart him. Okay. Oh my, oh my,
Well,
oh my.
and the story started out with the idea of, you know, that they had beaten all these villains, and the villains finally got the idea that, well, what if we just team up to smack them down first, and then we can fight each other?
Okay.
You know, so they're like facing all their greatest villains at once, so they get well trounced.
Oh my. Okay. Songs. We have Townsville's Going Down. Want to get some? That sounds suggestive. Rain.
Yeah.
Give me your answer. Normal Little Girls. Hear Me Fathers. Oh, geez. Those two in series. Yeah, it's weird. Sunshine Down on Me. Oh, God. It sounds like something John Lennon would have written. Best
I think
Day
it
of
was
My-
very much influenced that way, yes.
Okay. Best Day of My Life. Freedom Beef. You want to make us feel real good. Oh, God, that's weird. And why can't we all get along? Okay. Oh, God.
Yeah, the Sunshine Down on Me would have fit into a John Lennon concert.
And then there's this cat. Who's being a cat? You being a cat? The narrator never says the city of Townsville at the beginning of this episode, but Mojo Jojo sings these words.
Oh. Probably shouldn't do that. It might get a copyright strike.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I accidentally pulled it up because you can pull it up on. Well, I didn't accidentally pull it up, but you can find it on Daily Motion.
What, the episode?
Mhm.
Oh. Did somebody manage to preserve it? Okay.
Well, I mean, just because it's banned, just because they're not playing it, doesn't mean like you can't still find it like in collections and things. They just probably have to put a seizure warning on it.
Well, I do have it in my computer. About 2 years ago, I found it on YouTube.
And the little one is, yeah, the little one's crazy.
My cat finally gave up on trying to tear up the room and is now buried under blankets.
Sylvia has successfully broken the sound barrier.
Oh, I don't think you've been around when I've said this, but Diana, have you heard that Elmer has finally figured out that how to time it exactly when Dad and I open up my door and the front door out of the house at the same time, so that he can actually get out before we realize that he's scooted past us?
Oops.
Yeah, Dad and I have to make sure that we don't open those two doors at the same time. He has figured out that he can leap from my bed, get right at the door, and then race out to the out the front door, through the living room to the front door. He got out twice that way. And he was just like, "Wee, I'm out."
Jeez, it sounds like he'd have to be doing Mach 2.7 in order to do that.
Okay, you've seen pictures of him, and you've seen him on video cam. He looks gray when he's decided he's getting out of the house. You just see this gray streak go by.
Oh, boy, moi.
Now, Sammy's son gets past me at times, especially if I've got my arms full carrying something in. But then he'll stand about 5 feet from the door and check if I'm coming with him.
Oh, okay.
You know, he's like a dog. He doesn't really want to go out on his own. He wants me to follow him.
The funny one, she only tried it once. Soon after we moved in here, I mean, within a couple of weeks, for whatever reason, I had the door open, and Sylvia zooms out into the hallway, stops dead in her tracks, looks up looks up the hall, looks down the hall, turns around, comes back in, looks at me, says, "I'm not going out there again. I'm not crazy."
No. Elmer has a tendency, because usually he'll escape when Dad's the one at the front door. But we have a tiny porch in front of the door. It's basically useless. But he will climb up the railing of the porch, and it's not screened in either. He'll climb up the railing of the porch, look straight at my dad, and then take a dive bomb into the bushes. Just because he likes the cussing that he hears from Dad when he does that. Because he'll just be like, "Haha, you didn't notice I'm out, so guess what? I'm gonna dive bomb now."
Oh my! Okay, I'm looking at the screen here. I hadn't had the StreamYard screen up in a while. Did somebody drop acid and get into a set of acrylic paints?
Yeah, that's Pirate Kitty again.
Oh, that's just my desktop. I don't know where that came from.
Oh, okay.
That's because you don't disconnect your sharing from StreamYards.
Well, I put the default screen because I'm like, what if I try and share again? Then I got a bug purple to open up, so I'm like, I'll just leave it here on my desktop
Until you forget, and then put something up that you'll highly regret.
Or something I've got to go and edit out 11 seconds again.
Well, and also it's not not an ugly screen.
No,
I've got this.
I have a T-shirt like that.
Let me see. It's some pretty trippy. It's the default. Yeah, send to the tray. Let me get this crap out of the way, and let me see. Here we go. Personalize. Let's see. Let's see. There's this. It's called scenes, right? Let me see if that's gonna. Oh, yeah, it will. There's another one. Can you see that change?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with the blue clouds and. What the hell is that?
That looks like the guy from Adventure Time dropping acid.
This is one of my favorite ones.
I like that one too. That's pretty.
And then there's this
kind
one.
of almost reminiscent. I wish I could remember the guy's name. The guy who illustrated Yellow Submarine.
That's exactly what I was thinking of with the Yellow Submarine movie.
Yeah. I've got that around here somewhere, and I still have to send shit to you. I keep forgetting. God damn it.
Oh, apparently they've added a new one called Characters. Here's something.
Okay, yeah. Turtles all the way down. Oh, holy shit, man. Lewis Carroll was on everything anyway, so.
Yep. Yeah, okay, I recognize the style. I don't know the artist there.
That's just weird.
That one, too. It reminded me of something, but I don't know the artist.
Oh, jeez, that style reminds me of, and I can't. Yeah, and that's just weird.
Oh yeah, I think this one is my favorite one.
Yeah. Yeah, that
I'm not
has
gonna
the
stay
same
there.
feel as the Yellow Submarine movie, which I had on VHS, but I've never found it on DVD.
I found a master, if I remember correctly, a DVD master, and I've got it here. So I'll have to set that one up too. I'll have to set up an entire torrent server. Just
That's okay. I'm on YouTube now. I never have time to watch TV anymore.
There you go.
There we are. How much they want for that? $13. It's not bad.
Oh, not at all. Yeah, I have to say I haven't really made a hard attempt to look for it, but
It's amazing what you'll find when you start going out and looking.
I had to move that off because I noticed it had something on there, and I'm like, wait. But then it's like, it's not anything I haven't said a bajillion times. It had my first name and my zip code.
No.
But like, I make no bones about the fact that I'm in Atlanta.
yeah.
Will be the only city in the world where they moved my exit is a valid reason for being late to work.
Jeez. That sounds about right, though.
It's continuous highway construction.
Yep.
Mhm.
I think they started in 1972 and haven't stopped.
Yeah, well, that's
Oh,
like the tollway from Indiana through Chicago and up to Milwaukee.
Oh, Jesus. Yes.
Yeah, it's called the Tri-State Tollway, and we've always called it the Tri-State Construction Zone.
Mm-hmm.
We have a.
And we
have a
found out that there literally is a company that they were working from one end to the other, and as soon as they get to one end in Illinois, they'd go back to the other state line and start again. And the same company was continuously employed repairing that tollway for more than 12 years nonstop.
Well, by the time you get from one end to the other, it probably needs it.
Yeah.
Sounds like the Golden Gate Bridge.
Well, and that was basically just, where it started in Indiana to where it hit the Wisconsin state line. So mostly that was just through Chicago and about an hour on each end.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, we've literally got a thoroughfare or whatever the heck you want to call it over here that is called Spaghetti Junction.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Let me see.
Well, that's why there's very little that I'm really worried about in drive. I don't like to drive, but I know I can do it. Because I learned highway driving on the Chicago expressways.
Oh God, you can do
Here's
anything.
a picture
And then,
of Spaghetti
yeah,
Junction.
then while I was still 16, I moved to Upper Michigan to finish high school. So I learned winter driving on unpaved gravel roads that sometimes didn't get plowed for 3 days after it snowed.
Oh.
So I think I've,
There we go.
been through some of the worst.
There's a picture of Spaghetti Junction.
There's a name for that sort of layout, and I forget what it is, but I think headache or migraine would do.
Yeah.
Let me see if it's in here because there's a. It's called a stack interchange.
Yeah.
A butterfly junction.
Well, and I had just posted a thing yesterday
Come
that
driving on along through Atlanta, going through the junction. Butterfly Junction. Anyway.
yeah, the U.S. needs to get with what the rest of the world has known for decades, and we need to start using roundabouts on a regular basis.
Yes.
I'm seeing more of them. I see a couple of them now.
There's actually one been installed near my parents' place.
There's a half dozen of them through Wisconsin that I encounter.
There was one for many, many moons at the junction of US 422 and Ohio 87. I don't know if that's been obviated or what, but that's the first one I remember. So it's been there for a while. What do we have?
Yeah, and I don't really get this contradiction with Americans that okay, people will stand in line overnight to get the newest iPhone, even though their old one is only 8 months old. But we won't accept them changing the roads.
Yeah.
So why is it on one hand, it's like we have to be the first in all the newest technology, and on the other side, when it comes to civil engineering, you'd better not change anything from the way my grandfather did it.
That's people. Yep. Nobody ever said Homo sapiens was rational.
I don't know. It must be something to do with the problem that, Americans want individually to be first in everything, but we're not very good at working as a collective. So anything that's done with tax money, anything that involves there being a government agency involved, they're going to stop, even if it's a good idea.
Can I not live on this planet anymore? I'd like to go to a different planet. Please. Please.
Yep, I know what you mean.
Like, just take a few select people with me that I actually like.
Yeah, I've been working on plans for that since 1982. Of actually designing an ark and, even considering the idea that, well, okay, maybe we won't be able to find a habitable planet, but kind of like the people who just live in RVs and drive around. We could just live in the ship and visit different solar systems, even if we don't really find any place we can live.
Well, wouldn't it be the shit, though, if you ended up with the ship that featured in which of the Hitchhiker's Guide installments was that? Was that the second one where the ship, the Ark, crashed on a planet?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that was in the third one.
Third one, okay. Yeah, and all humanity was derived from those people. It was all
Yep.
What the heck was that book that we were talking about that weeks ago? That it was a book that I couldn't remember the name of, but it was basically about moving from one planet to another, but they had forgotten why they were doing it, and it turned into like a religion.
Yeah, I remember our conversation on that. I don't remember the name of it. I think we found that was something by Asimov.
No, hold on.
No.
Give me 2 seconds. I just the cat who walks through walls. It was the same author that did that book. I can't remember who it was. Heinlein.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
Orphans
I
of the
look at
Sky.
it. I honestly look at it this way. At the rate things are going, I'm doomed anyways. I'd like to have an opportunity to at least think for a little while that I'm not doomed. And then when we get doomed, at least I had a little bit of happiness before I got taken out on the spaceship.
I'll tell you, the one that always comes to my mind, and I actually take some solace in it, is what Hitchens had said years ago, that he finds comfort in the knowledge of having been born into a losing struggle.
I don't. I'd like to pretend that I'm not, but unfortunately, it is what it is.
I just think of Tom Lear's song for World War III. We will all go together
Yeah.
when we go, all diffused with an incandescent glow. No one will have the endurance to collect on their insurance. Lloyd's of London will be loaded when they go.
Oh man, and how close I don't know here, kids. Are we getting about as close as we were in 1962?
I was actually more worried about it when he was antagonizing North Korea. Just because Iran, while they may be religious zealots, I think may actually have some rational people in the government.
Well,
Oh,
Iran
unlike
is
the
stating
US.
that they
Oh,
really
okay.
don't. Iran is stating, and they could be lying about it, but the official statement from Iran is, we really don't want to escalate this. Now, it's government, so yes, they could be lying about that. I get that, but I'm kind of hoping that that's their general attitude.
Well, put up a red flag when I read, them saying, we really don't want to escalate this, but here are the conditions that will lead us to do so. And it's sort of like the which original Star Trek series episode was it?
I mean,
where, we don't want war, so why are you fighting?
Because
Well,
they're a sovereign country and they can't just let that kind of thing go un.
Yeah, they couldn't let it go. It's
Yeah.
If they
Well,
had
yeah,
just stood by and done nothing, then Trump would have. And Trump's gonna be aggressive either way, but the thing is that the only way to speak Trump's language is to fight back, unfortunately. And I think that that's what they kind of wound up having to do.
I mean, this is where.
Well, yeah, somebody comes up and gives you a bloody nose. You can't just walk away and pretend nothing happened. You have to respond to that somehow.
Yeah, and this is where things are going to get crazy. I mean, they are just going to. It's going to be so easy to go off the edge. And then the other thing that's helping is what I read may or may not actually be what's going on in his head. This is all a diversionary tactic. He's risking a large scale war just to get people's minds off the impeachment.
Well, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that our history has been, if we're in the middle of a war, presidents tend to get reelected.
Yeah, that's right where I was going. That
I mean,
I think Trump wants us to be at war in November.
Yeah,
because he's sure that that's the one way he'll get reelected.
And if he doesn't get reelected, he and his buddies get the money from the war anyways.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he is not the smartest guy in the world, but there are some areas where his half-assed plans work out for him. So, I mean...
Yeah, well, he can often link up the dollar signs, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was my thought process was, and I mean, even if Trump hasn't figured that out, I'm sure somebody on his staff who wants to keep their job, figured it out, or Pence even, because Pence is just as bad as Trump morally, but
he's worse than Trump because he actually is somewhat rational. He is able to.
Yeah, Pence unfortunately
form coherent thoughts.
Yeah, Pence is unfortunately competent, and he is also a religious zealot.
Yeah,
and
that was the other one I read recently. Do we have Pompeo and somebody else supposedly saying that this is how to cause Armageddon? And then you have the second coming and all that bullshit. And this was from a reputable source. I just can't remember which one.
Yeah, I'd rather not get too much into politics in here, though.
Yeah,
Moo.
not
Yeah.
after what happened.
Not
on the
after last
chimp.
night.
Yeah.
Well, generally I just,
Oh, what did I miss?
I've kept these chats to just being groups of friends getting together, so
Hmm.
for the most part, I don't want to be on much
I will tell
politics.
you later, Diana, what happened. And
Yeah, we
I'm
don't want to.
thinking I should sit down with Purple and explain what happened too, because Purple said, I don't get people, I don't understand. And I'm gonna go ahead and
Yeah.
sit down with Purple and
Well,
Yeah.
I think I got the gist of it because I finally got to read through most of the post. But it's like
yeah.
this all happened in a matter of hours while I was in bed.
Yeah, and the thing is that, and I'm sorry for not modding better, but the thing is that there was
Not
a
your
certain-
job. You never. I
Okay.
never heard you say that you wanted to be a mod, so that was not your job.
Yeah, I would not have been able to diffuse that situation. I don't
Yep.
think anybody would have. So
And
I
even-
stayed out.
Yeah.
Well, Ozman tried to and just
Yep.
wound up getting crapped on a lot.
Hmm. Yeah. But to be fair, there are some people in our circles that once they get upset, they seem to want to fight instead of cooling off, and I don't think that helped either.
Yep.
Oh, you mean like one YouTube creator who posted a chat a day ahead titled "Fight Me"? That she basically sat there through the whole thing trying to get somebody to come in and pick a fight with her?
Yeah. That
Do I
not.
know this person?
I don't.
Yeah.
To be
I
fair,
thought
though,
so.
to be fair though, I don't blame her because I was halfway tempted to hit the button myself because I was like, "Damn, we haven't even been together a day, and what are you people doing?"
Well, and it's like I can see everybody's point and I can see why each person, had an emotional response based on their history.
Oh yeah, it's just
You
I
know, and
wasn't
that-
expecting somebody to say what they did. I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, do you realize what you just did?"
Okay,
No, why?
again, we need to keep this to the private group because the people in the side chat have no idea what we're talking about.
Sorry.
So,
Sorry, my bad.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Lord.
it's just we're discussing this, and there's like 10 people watching this who are just going, "Huh? What's
Huh?
going on?"
Yeah, well,
Yeah, sorry.
how is this different from
sorry.
any other show?
Yes,
What the
but
hell?
you yes, but you did tell me to stop once. I will stop now.
Yeah.
Kitty, no, what are you doing? No.
I was like, you
no.
said kitty, and I'm like, what am I doing? And then I'm like, oh wait, not me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I think it's funny.
Yep. So, in case anybody missed it, IQ was shilling for me in the side chat there.
Yeah, okay.
No, Elmer's pushed a box that he knows he's not supposed to push to try to get into an area that he knows he's not supposed to be in. And he's sitting now looking at me like, I'm not doing anything. What are you talking about, Mommy? Like I said, I'm glad that he's doing well, but I kind of want to kill him.
Yeah, I had a little problem with Sammy's son because I wound up putting some boxes in the way, and apparently, I guess that there was a hole back there was one of his hiding places I didn't know about.
Oops.
So he kept trying to move the boxes because he couldn't get into his hidey hole.
That's like I really need to get more shelves in my room so that I can put all my books up properly. But it doesn't help when there's an entire section of my bookshelf that I cannot put books on. Elmer does not knock things over very often or pull things down, but there are specific areas or items that he will do. There's only 3 in my room, but if I put books in his spot, he will pull the books off the shelf and
Yep.
then sit in his spot.
Yes, cats are very territorial by nature. This is my space. What are you doing? This is my space.
Yes, and I have tried it a few times, and he has ignored that space for 4 months. But I guarantee you, if I were to put like books back in that area, they
Yep.
would only be there for 2 minutes.
Yep. Once he's scent marked the area, it doesn't matter if he doesn't go back to it. You know, if he's gone and done the thing of rubbing his cheeks up against the edges of it, you know, he scented it, that's his space, and you're supposed to realize that and not touch it.
Yes. The only other there is a banana I was given at a Doctor Who fest because one of my nicknames is Banana. And
Banana!
she thought, she was like, I got a banana. I'm giving you the banana. Elmer will pull that down off the shelf and try to play with it. For some reason, he thinks it's his.
Yep.
Even though everything is his because he's a cat. But he specifically thinks that that is a toy for him.
Well,
And then the
Sammy's
other-
so funny because if I've been ignoring him, he'll stand in the other chair and he'll start poking at stuff on the table between these two chairs. But he'll intentionally make noise, so I'll look at him so he can, you know, check. And it's like, is it okay if I get into some mischief now? You know, and then he'll start like pulling pens and things off the table.
Elmer tends to climb when he wants to get in trouble, more so than knocking things over. My desk is a disaster. I blink at it wrong
Oh.
and stuff falls off of it. But Elmer can walk across my desk without knocking anything off of it.
Well, yeah, I'm surprised that Sammy doesn't pull stuff off the tables a lot more, but, you know, you were talking about cats breaking the sound barrier. You know, well, he does that vertically because it's like, you know, he'll go from the front door and run the full length of the apartment into the bedroom and, like, bounce off the bed and come barreling through again, and it's like before I'm even aware he's come out of the bedroom, he's on top of the refrigerator.
Yeah. Elmer's pretty damn fast. And he also has figured out where all the blind spots are. I joke all the time that whomever gave my cat superpowers didn't know how to properly balance things because my cat is too overpowered with the skills of Houdini and the Flash all in one.
Yep.
Because half the time when he makes it out, it's because I actually physically did not see him because he jumped down from a blind spot when I opened my door. What are you doing?
Okay.
Kitty?
Yeah, we're getting close to the 3-hour mark here, so I think we should probably wrap this up.
Yeah, and I need to go eat.
Yeah, I need to go and drive out to my mom's today, so I should do that while it's still daylight. Which is only about an hour and a half left here.
Yeah, it still gets dark quite early, and that's annoying. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you get up at a reasonably early hour, it still gets dark insanely early.
I don't know. I'm always conflicted on that because somehow it's like if that bright thing is lighting up the whole sky, it seems too early to be up.
Okay. I don't know. There are times that I wish I lived somewhere in the tropics where you were a little closer to even as far as day length and night length are concerned.
Yeah.
And again, the tropics have their own problems.
Yeah, no, I do notice it, you know, if I don't get some sunlight, but I'm so sensitive to the bright lights that
I certainly could not overwinter at a polar station. Could not do it.
Yeah, I wonder about Zod. He's somewhere up in Alaska. So I wonder, how many hours of daylight is he getting?
Ew.
Depends on where. Yeah. Um, I know that there are points in Alaska that are above the Arctic Circle, so you've got
Yeah,
that
I
whole
don't
thing
know,
going on.
what city he's by, so I don't know which area. And Alaska is, yeah. People don't realize that, how big it is.
Well, I remember the description of the argument occurring in 1960 between a Texan and an Alaskan. Where the Alaskans, hey, now we have the largest state, and the Texan says, no, but yeah, not after it melts. Don't
Yeah,
look at me.
actually,
That wasn't my joke. Okay.
yeah. No, actually, I was looking at it for some other stuff. I was looking up the states, and they were listed by area. And Alaska is actually 1/6 of the entire area of the United States.
Okay.
This is not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, 17% of the acreage of the U.S. is Alaska.
Boy, shit.
Yeah, I don't know how people live in Alaska.
Well, the
There's-
government gives them a few $1,000s a year each. That helps.
Well,
No.
here's the thing, though. There's money to be made up there, and you do have the government handouts and everything else. But the cost of living, it's worse than California's.
Yeah, well,
Well,
again,
and-
everything's got to be, trucked in from so far away or flown in.
Yeah, I mean, is a dozen eggs that far from $5?
I am not sure. I know it's bad.
Yep. Although, what I think was probably the single greatest premise for a horror movie I've ever seen was 30 Days of Night. That this tribe of vampires realized if they went to this town in Alaska, the sun didn't come up for a month.
Okay.
Oh, I need to watch that now.
It was a pretty scary movie. Yeah, my fiance was really into horror movies, and that was a good one.
Okay, I might regret watching it because I don't typically like horror, but just the sound of that, that's kind of thing that's right up my alley as far as like the idea goes.
Yeah.
I can also see a very campy version of that working too. But I tend to when I watch horror, I tend to prefer camp.
It had a bit of camp into it, but it was still played as a very serious threat.
Yeah. I need to sit down and try What We Do in the Shadows, the TV series. Because the movie was really, really good, and I haven't heard anybody who liked the movie say that they didn't like the series. So it's basically like a mockumentary slice of life about 4 vampires who are housemates in Britain, and it's fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah, I can't remember the title of it. There was a series, from Britain that it was a vampire and a werewolf and a ghost sharing this house
Human,
together.
I think was
What?
it Almost Human or Being Human?
Yeah, one of those.
I think it was Being Human.
Yeah, that was another one.
Because
It's
they
like
were exploring what it meant to be human.
yeah. It was a good series. I was watching that one with my fiance, but then after we moved, we decided to give up having the cable because it was too expensive.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was Being Human, and there was a BBC version and an American version.
Of course.
Well, the BBC version is what we watched, and I
It's
saw.
probably better, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw like the first 3 or 4 episodes of the American version, and I was really disappointed. It was such a step down from the original.
I was going to say the
Well,
Americans
it's like,
ruin everything. Yeah.
well, the thing is that there are certain. The problem is that Americans go, "Oh, this is popular, and we really like it. Let's do it for America," and then they forget a lot of the British cultural things that made that series
Yeah,
interesting in the first place, or try to imitate it, and it just a lot of times it falls flat. There's exceptions, but meh.
yeah,
I also don't like it when very British shows pander to American audiences, because that also tends to go very meh.
Meh.
Zaporozhye.
yeah.
Super meh.
That sounds like an oxymoron.
Okay, wait a minute. There's promise here. Just got to figure it out. Super meh. The superhero whose power is not giving a shit. I don't know.
No, I already had that. I was Apathy Man.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I could save the day, but I really don't care.
Okay then. I don't give a shit about apathy.
We had the idea of getting somebody to do an avatar for Sloth Girl with a cape and all. That she will save the world eventually.
Oh, bože, sorry about that. Bardzo gesta. Yeah, this is interesting. I am up to looking to making over here, and you have sunrise and sunset times in Quito, um, in Ecuador, and the sun will set at 1824 hours, and it will rise again at 617 hours. So you've got almost equal day and night right around now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's not that far off the solstice.
Erg.
Whoa, wait a minute. Did I
Yeah.
hear you
Well,
exclaim, oh, unk?
why do you think the Vikings were willing to take journeys months or years long in these boats that they had to row across the open ocean? It was better than sitting around above the Arctic Circle all winter.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, there was loot. Lots of loot.
Yep.
Loot
Well,
is
that was the
always
thing,
fun.
when it starts snowing, you row down, you go sack a couple of countries. By the time you come back, the snow's melting.
Well,
You distribute the goods through the village.
well, what's this thing they had about ancient stringed instruments anyway? God, that's terrible.
I missed that one.
Now I
There-
have
there was loot.
I
Oh.
have a really, really,
No.
and I don't think anybody is gonna know this image, but now I have the image of Hero plucking the loot really, really badly from a funny thing happened on the way to the forum.
Okay.
You're lovely, plume, absolutely lovely, clink.
Okay, well, we're right at the hour. So
I
I'm ready
guess
to
that's
shut
about
this
as good a
down.
time
Does
as
anybody
any to pull
have
the plug.
anything coming up they want to plug?
Oh, let's see. Well, I haven't decided yet on what Sunday's show is going to be about, if it's going to be about anything at all. But there will be a Sunday show. We'll see to that, and also come on down to movie night down at Sci Strike. I guess the channel is now Sci Strike, so I can no longer say Sci Strike's channel.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kate's showing up now that the way
Yeah,
I
I haven't
understand
been
it.
able to be doing movie night the last couple of weeks because I've had things going on Saturday.
Next thing I've got to do is get her on the damn panel, but that's another story. Well, here's the thing, though. I'd have a hard. We've already discussed this on the air. As a matter of fact, we discussed it. We discussed it last night. It would be kind of difficult to get Kate on movie night because she would very likely walk from San Diego to Florida in order to kill Tornado Pelt.
Yeah. Yeah, I
can see
that.
having the two of them in the same room would be difficult.
Kill who?
Wow.
Tornado.
Do you know
Tornado in the
Tornado?
junkyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his issues, but I mean, I love him dearly, I really do. But there are times you just want. There was a Dilbert comic with Dilbert in a restaurant taking his girlfriend out for dinner. And then there's table a little way down with this crying baby in the high chair. And then the final panel, you had the baby in the high chair with its head back and a loaf of French bread crammed down its throat. Guy after my own heart. Well, I guess Scott Adams is child free. And
You don't have to be child free in order to appreciate people who respect others enough to keep their children quiet in public. But it helps.
It helps, yeah. Well, I'm definitely child free because it takes something really, 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 really special to be a parent. I didn't have it, and I knew it. So, snip, snip. Okay, that's done.
I have finally figured out that there is no way that there is a higher power because leaving me in charge of an entire house was a bad idea.
Okay, well,
It's a terrible idea.
I don't know.
Really
maybe
is.
maybe that was the grant designer's idea of
A cosmic joke?
initiating Legageddon. And I can't even get that right.
Initiating what?
Legageddon, as opposed to Armageddon.
Oh.
I know they only get worse.
Yeah, well,
Pull the damn plug already.
I've actually been contemplating, if where I'm living now isn't actually Helheim, the Viking version of hell. Because it's not supposed to have any demons or fire or torture. It's just described as being an eternity of mind-numbing boredom.
Okay.
And I think that pretty much fits where I've been the last 3 years.
Pissed.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
really
sorry.
great when 3 years feels like 30,
Okay. Well, all right.
Well-
If anybody doesn't have anything else to plug, I'm going to
No,
hit
I'm
this
still
little
working on stuff and things, but we never know when that's going to come out. So I'm stopping promising actual dates now and saying you'll see it when you see it.
Yeah, that's the same thing here. Yeah, the beginning of last year, I said something about getting one edited video out a month. I think I got 6 or 7 of them out the entire year, so I'm not putting dates on anything.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay, well, then for everybody in the side chat, thank you for coming. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night, all.